Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to this breakout session. I am Vincent Julien. I'm the VP Alliance of InsideBoard, and I am with Michael Debaste from Accenture. So today we are going to talk about CRM adoption, and I will talk first about maybe InsideBoard if you don't know what we're doing. So we are a software company. We are an ISV, and we are the first digital platform for change management. That means that we work with employees on their transformation to make sure they adopt what their company has decided to implement through AI and through our communities. And I'm with Michael, and maybe Michael, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi Vincent. So Michael Debaste, I'm a managing director at Accenture, and I'm leading all the Salesforce activities that we have in France. So very pleased to be with you today, Vincent.
That's great. That's great. And we have a huge topic today because CRM adoption, you know, it's all in our mind. When you are a company, when you are a customer, and you're looking at investing on a CRM, whatever CRM it is, one of the main questions is, I make sure that my employees are using, it's a huge investment, are every employee using properly this solution or not? So what we want to do together with Accenture and InsideBoard is to make sure that you understand what is our way of doing this. We can share example of our customers and how we implement this with our customers. So maybe a first question, Michael. How do you define CRM adoption?
I think that the CRM adoption is really related to the business value that you get out of your project. I mean, obviously, it's very important that the users, the end users, use the solution that you have put in place. But more important than that, it's really about the business value you get out of the implementation that you have made. So I would say that make sure that the user are using properly the application is key in the process, but it's more a milestone than the final goal. The final goal for me and for us is really to make sure that you will get the proper business value that you wanted to have at the beginning of the project.
Yeah, that's right. And quite often we talk about adoption of the tool itself, and it's just a beginning. And quite often when you invest on the CRM, it's also to change the way the people are working. So it's also to change the way the behavior of the people, also the processes. So it's about adoption of these processes, adoption of these behaviors, which are critical to this program. And also, as you mentioned, it's what is the business impact it generates. You're right.
Yeah, and specifically in a CRM context, how would you define the adoption, or how do you think that adoption works in the CRM context exactly?
Well, yes, the way it would work, it's really about focusing on the employees first. You know, the adoption is really, of course, you have the decision from the top management, but the adoption is coming from the employees by themselves. And then we can talk about the managers, and then you can talk about the project leaders. Adoption is about all these different communities of users that you need to engage. And engage is not only about pushing some trainings, pushing some communication from the top management. Of course, it's necessary, but it's to be able to have relevant information for the employees according to the step, according to their maturity in the project. So the project we have done together, one of the projects I was thinking about this energy company we have been working with. In fact, it was a large project because it was not about the adoption itself of the tool only. It was about the way that the sales team had to change behavior. It was they were working on the reactive mode, and they had to work on the proactive mode. And the combination of what you have been doing together with our data platform and able to engage every employee to make sure they understand the why, and then they understand the how, and step by step they were progressing on the change.
Yeah, I think you're right. To understand the why is really key in the success of the project, and they also have to really understand the added value of the new application that the client has developed. Because if they don't understand this added value, there won't be, very enthusiastic to use the solution. So that's really key. So indeed, yeah, the why, the how, and what the value it will bring to them.
Yes, right. And then one other element that we realized in InsideBoard when we deploy this with all our customers is we realized that organizations are matrix-based, quite complex because we are targeting large corporate companies. And in fact, it's not only about talking to the different functions in the organization, it's to be able to talk about different people in different organizations. So we wanted to break the silos. And one thing that we did is we worked on communities. We call that success communities, which mean that we talk to different communities which have similar objectives, similar success objectives, and then similar KPIs. And that's important because when you talk, for example, about ambassadors, they will not belong only to one entity. They might belong to different entities. So we need to engage with them also, these ambassadors. What about managers? Also, they need to engage with a specific objective, and we need to, again, cross-silo, talk to them. It can be also newcomers. We not talk to the newcomers the same way as you talk to people who have been in the company for 20 years. So we create these communities of users, some success communities, which are really a critical element for us that we believe is mandatory to be able to be successful. And in fact, we use what is existing from Slack, from Teams, or all the different tools because we use what is working, and then we implement for the first time in a change management platform. So for you, we mentioned a few blockers, but what would be the additional blockers you think about adoption?
Yeah, I think the main blocker that we see at several clients that we have is that sometimes the CRM project is IT-led. And obviously, if you don't talk to the business at the very beginning of the project, that you have no chance to succeed. Yeah. That's impossible, especially because there is no company on the market that launch such a big CRM project, blah, 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 without having defined business objectives, business KPIs, et cetera, et cetera. So if you don't talk to the business, if you don't involve the business at the very beginning of the project, you have no chance to succeed first. Yeah. The other thing is sometimes some of our clients really focus on the wrong adoption KPIs, meaning that they want to measure how many times a day people connect to the platform or this kind of KPI. They don't focus on I would say the main ones that are, I launched that project because I wanted to improve my sales or to reduce or to improve my first call resolution or all this kind of thing. And they are focusing on the right KPIs. So I would say that that's the main issue that we can face on CRM projects.
And it's right that these KPI are super important, and it might evolve during the project because you might have some KPI at the beginning of the project and then evolve them when they're more maturity. I was thinking about a customer which wanted to focus their team about their sales team about improving the forecast currently on their program, which of course is important. But the fact is the data were completely rubbish. And so in fact, the first step is to define KPI on how can I improve my data quality. And then you can move your KPI to something else. And the thing is, of course, everybody will evolve differently at different pace. So some employees will work super quickly, and then some others will work more slowly. And so this KPI by community needs to be really focused on the maturity of the people. And again, maturity can come at individual level or at community level.
Yeah.
That's the importance of these two elements. Yeah. An individual will work for the community also. It will evolve and help to grow the KPI of the community.
Yeah, and I think the key is exactly what you said. I mean, when you start such a project, you have to define KPIs per communities, because you have the KPIs that you want to achieve from a, I would say, business perspective. But as you said, you have different communities, the manager, the end users, etc., and each community has to have its own KPIs so that they are really focused on their, let's say, own goals. And it will also allow us to really kind of tailor the content that we push to them so that the content is really, relevant regarding the KPI they have for the community they belong. So that's, I would say, the third reason why some projects fail is it's because sometimes the content is the same for all the communities, all the population. So yeah, again, we have to tailor the content so that we are sure that the KPIs are really clear for each community.
And that's a very good point, because if you communicate the same message to everybody, that will not have much impact. What we need to do is to make sure that the different communities, and even at individual level, they have a message tailored for them, personalized for each of them. Even if we talk about a project of 50,000 users, every individual needs to think that it's a message done for us. And in fact, for him personally. And the reason why, that's why in InsideBoard, we have focused a lot of energy on building an artificial intelligence engine, which is a core of the platform. And this engine is getting information, and from the information is able to define the personality, sorry, not the personality, but the maturity of every individual. The level of information he has got, and according to also his KPI and the level of achievement of his KPI, to push him information which is relevant to him, push him information to progress step by step. And this AI engine is critical to make sure that every individual will grow at its pace, and also will receive information which makes sense for him.
And did you see any change because of the pandemic in the way the companies are managing the adoption?
Yeah, that's true. That, of course, we have all seen that everybody moved to digital. So you cannot do any more training on site. You cannot do workshop on site. You need to move to a digital platform. But I think we are all have this Zoom or Teams fatigue, right? So we are all spending all our days on Zoom. So we need to have an approach which is different on this digital approach. How can we engage on topics which are really relevant for me? And it's about me having a community of users which are talking about my topic, not like a topic which is too general. So that's also the agility we want to bring on the platform, so that we can talk with the right information. That's probably one of our learning on this. And it's also that we are social animal, I would say. So we need to talk, to exchange, and our platform is about sharing information and talking on topics which are relevant for us.
Yeah, and it was also a kind of challenge for us, and maybe the first challenge that we faced with our clients was sometimes to convince them that they are able to continue to make to run their activity during this pandemic period. So sometimes when you are a sales in the B2B space, you can say, okay, but if I don't see clients, how can I make my job, etc. So again, digital is everywhere, so we have talked a lot about it during the pandemic, etc. But the first challenge that we faced at this time was really to say, okay, guys, the way of working will change, but you will be able to do it. You just have to adapt yourself the way you are working. You have to use new tools, new methodology, etc., etc. And now they are realizing that it works indeed.
Yeah, that's true. And by the way, we have some customers which ask us to evolve the way they were using the InsideBoard platform to a more large topic, not only the CRM adoption topic. It was about communicating between each other, talking about large transformation, even cultural transformation. So it was an opportunity for us. And what would you say why this adoption failed at? I mean, all the studies say 75% of the project which are failing, which is huge. Why would they fail?
I think again we talked a bit about it, but sometimes the clients are not really focusing on the right KPIs. And if the KPIs that you are trying to improve are not the right ones, it won't make any sense for the users. Yeah. So and sometimes we don't spend enough time with our clients defining those KPIs at the beginning of the project, etc. So we talked a lot about KPIs, etc. But that's because it's really key. You have to define the right ones. You have to tailor the approach community by community. You have to deploy the solution, deploy the new offerings, deploy the new business processes, etc. And you have to, and that's the let's say the most difficult part of the job. You have to animate it in the time. Yeah. I mean, because sometimes once the project is live, and we have trained the people, etc., then the client said, okay, now people are trained, so you can go, and it will work for, I don't know, 2, 3, 5 years. But we all know that that's not true. You always have to make sure that the adoption is there. You have some, rotation within the team, so new people coming, you have to train them as well. You have to deploy the solution. So it's it's an activity that is a long-term activity, I would say, and you have to always make sure that despite the new features or the new offerings that you are selling on the market, the new people that are joining, etc., you have the right level of adoption, and that this adoption contributes to the business KPIs that you have defined at the very beginning of the project.
And that's quite often the issue that we see from our customers is that they want to invest during a short period of time. Exactly. Of course, there is a peak of usage by the employees, but if there is nothing after, then it goes down. Yeah. And that's where, for us, the experience we have with our customers is that we implement InsideBoard on the long run, because we know that we implement the first set of objectives. Our methodology, there are 3 parts. It's the onboarding part, the user adoption part, and then we go to performance. At least on the 3rd part, that's where we see the project, the durability of the change happening. Yeah. So if we don't have these 3 parts, there is just a spike and then it goes down. So that's why we want to change. That's why we want to have a disruptive approach by this platform, which is changing on regular basis the communication with the employees. We are giving objectives which are also evolving according to their maturity and the maturity of the project. So we don't see just this curve. We see continuing growth of adoption and then performance.
And what would be the other recommendation that you could bring to the companies that want to increase their adoption? Especially in the CRM space, obviously.
Yeah, I think we've covered different topics like the right methodology to apply a very personalized approach for every employees. The work we have been doing with our customers by combining the strengths of your expertise in change and our data platform on the long run have shown great results. We are always showing the ROI of our projects. But now we are going to the next step in InsideBoard by going to giving autonomy to the partner which are working with us, also autonomy of the customers if you want, to be able to manage a platform and to be able to configure the platform, to be able to animate, to give content. So we don't depend on us only, but also with the partner, and it's an important step. And also to help to scale the project, because of course you will start with one entity at the customer side, then move to the next entity, maybe to the next country, and that autonomy we are giving help to do a scalability of the project. So why would you think that the combination of our both company, Accenture plus InsideBoard, could be a winning combination for customers?
I think the main reason is that I think we share the same DNA first. And our common DNA is the business value. And that's what I liked the most when I started to discuss with InsideBoard a few years ago, is that when you came to me and say, okay, we want, each time we start a project with a client, we want to be sure that the client has in mind the real reason why he is launching the project. What are the business goals, the business objectives of this project? And that's why, in terms of DNA, we are quite close, InsideBoard and Accenture. So that's first. And then, from a more, let's say, business perspective, we are at Accenture working with Salesforce and some other partner on the business value from the very beginning of the project, including in the sales process or the pre-sales process. When we talk to clients to prepare and to present our value proposition, we try to make it, or to present it from a business value perspective. So we talk to the client and say, okay, what are the business goals and business objectives for your project? So here they are. So how can we measure it? What are the KPIs that you want to improve thanks to this project? Then we define with them the baseline. So where are you today? Then the target, where do you want to go? And in which period of time do you want to go or to reach this target? And then having a partner and a solution like InsideBoard will allow us, especially what you were mentioning before, on the fact that we will have access to some sandbox to pre-configure things before talking to clients, etc. It will allow us, even in the pre-sale process, to start really talking about KPIs, to start really to put the adoption at the heart of the project, and not being anymore at the side of the project. So that's sometimes something that has happened. So it will perfectly complete the way we want to sell projects to our clients. And I see InsideBoard as an enabler of the value proposition of the project that we will run in the coming months and years. So that's why I'm really happy to be here with you and to have this discussion.
Well, that's great. Thank you, Michael. And I think what you said is very complementary to our approach. So it's really this win-win solution that can help the customers. On the InsideBoard side, if we focus on and start by the success of the project, and then we can define the goal and the KPI. Then we can define the communities, success communities, which have similar goals and KPIs. Then we can really launch this project with the right success. So that's our approach. We are introducing also what I mentioned about the autonomy of the partner, which is a big step also for the partner. There will be the academy that will help. There will be the API that will help. There will be the back office that will help also. We are bringing our methodology and sharing with our partners. We are pushing for more agility in the platform, in the adoption itself, and we are bringing scalability. So with all this, we are sure we'll be reaching success. That's the objective, and that's our secret, our both secrets. I hope that you enjoyed. We reached the end of this session. That's what we wanted to share, both of us, about our experience. And now, if you want to learn more, you can learn more on the other breakout sessions. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.